The genre of country music has come a long way since its creation in the 1920s, so with a 100-year-old track record, it comes as no surprise that some of history's most successful artists have come from this genre. Dolly Parton, Garth Brooks, George Strait, and Johnny Cash are just some of the world's most recognized singers that just so happen to be country artists. And fast forward to 2025, country music holds about 25% of the market in America and is only growing by the day, with stars like Jelly Roll, Post Malone, Shaboozey, and Luke Combs, just to name a few. And while most artists are openly accepted, there are some that have managed to turn the whole country community against them. And in today's video, we'll be taking a deep dive into some of these artist stories to see how they went from topping Billboard charts to being on the forefront of controversy. Today, we'll be covering a list of Gen Z country artists that have managed to create a list of enemies so long, it's starting to put their career in jeopardy. Hey, welcome to Mosey Documentaries. We post weekly videos on your favorite celebrities, so don't forget to keep an eye out. And if you like what you see, make sure to turn on your post notifications. After taking up the #1 spot for 2 weeks straight on the Billboard Country Airplay with his breakout single Whiskey Glass, Morgan Wallen looked like the next big thing. But a recent string of events have led to Morgan gaining the type of attention that no artist wants. For example, in 2021, a video was published by TMZ showing Morgan Wallen drunk and saying the N-word.
Hey, y'all too? Hey, take care of this pussy ass motherfucker. Hey, Gracie, take care of this pussy ass.
Within a few hours, this video went mega viral, and unfortunately, Morgan was quick to face the consequences for his actions. Because less than 48 hours later, Morgan was suspended from his record label, and his songs were taken down from more than 400 radio stations, leaving him no choice but to issue a public apology.
I was asked if I wanted to apologize, and of course I did. I wrote many detailed thoughts, and only a portion of those got used, which painted me in an even more careless light. I'm here to hopefully show you that that's not the truth. The video you saw was me on hour 72 of 72 of a bender, and that's not something I'm proud of either. I also accepted some invitations from some amazing black organizations, some executives and leaders to engage in some very real and honest conversations. I'll admit to you, I was pretty nervous to accept those invitations. The very people I hurt, and they had every right to step on my neck while I was down, to not show me any grace, but they did the exact opposite. They offered me grace, and they also paired that with an offer to learn and to grow.
When I get drunk, I don't yell racial slurs. You know why? Because it's not in my mind or my heart. Don't know who he is, but it serves him right. Drunk words deserve sober thoughts. It was pretty clear that some people were not satisfied with Morgan Wallen's apology, leading him to take a seat at the Good Morning America news channel, where he did not apologize, but acknowledged his ignorance.
What made you think that the word was ever appropriate to use?
I'm not sure. I think I was just ignorant about it. I don't think I sat down and was like, hey, is this right or is this wrong?
And do you know the history of the word?
Oh yeah. I've heard some stories in the initial conversations that I had after that, just how some people are, treated even still today.
However, this wasn't the first time Morgan Wallen had landed himself in hot water by making a stupid decision. Because back in 2020, Morgan Wallen lost the biggest gig of his career after a video went viral of Morgan drinking in public and kissing a bunch of women during lockdown. In the video, Morgan is seen in a public space kissing and drinking with the people around him, while none of them were wearing masks and not practicing any form of social distancing. Around the same time, Morgan was supposed to be the musical guest on an upcoming episode of Saturday Night Live, but after this video went viral, Morgan was quickly taken off the show, ultimately fumbling the biggest gig of his career. Morgan issued a public apology stating that his actions were short-sighted and that he understands that SNL was well within their rights to cancel him. After these back-to-back events, you'd think Morgan would have learned his lesson. However, most recently, Morgan was arrested in downtown Nashville for throwing a chair off a 6-story restaurant in April 2024. On April 7, 2024, Morgan and his friends visited a newly opened bar/restaurant in downtown Nashville. The bar/restaurant has approximately 6 floors, and Morgan was partying on the 6th one. Later in the evening, eyewitnesses report seeing Morgan picking up a chair, throwing it off the balcony, and then laughing immediately after. Luckily, no one was injured by the chair, but unfortunately for Morgan, the chair landed just 3 feet away from 2 Metro Nashville Police Department officers that were standing outside of the restaurant. The 2 officers then made their way up to investigate, and they ended up identifying Morgan as the person who threw the chair. Morgan was arrested and released after putting up $15,000 as bail. He's not a teenager, nor a young adult. He is an adult who is nearly 30 years old. He should have grown up a long time ago. But what if I told you that this next country artist has been involved in so much controversy, he may just have more haters than total supporters? Back in late September of 2012, a video was published on TMZ showing country singer Jason Aldean getting physically close and kissing Brittany Kerr at a bar in Los Angeles. At the time, Jason was married to Jessica Ussery and had 2 daughters with her. So getting exposed for having an affair wasn't particularly a good look for Jason. I ultimately ended up embarrassing my family and myself. I'm not perfect, and I'm sorry for disappointing you guys. I really appreciate being able to work through this privately. However, this wouldn't be the last time Jason Aldean would find himself in hot water. Fast forward to May 2023, and Jason uploads the music video for his latest single, titled "Try That in a Small Town." The video includes imagery of protests, clashes with police, burning American flags, riots, and various public unrests. However, the lyrics included in the song is what created the first line of controversy. For example, 47 seconds into the song, Jason utters the lines, "Try that in a small town and see how far you make it down the road." People were outraged, claiming that these lyrics echo past narratives where rural communities took the law into their own hands, sometimes with violent or racially motivated outcomes. And things only got worse from there, because in the music video, Aldean is seen performing in front of the Maury County Courthouse. The Maury County Courthouse is a historically sensitive place that is tied to a lot of racial violence. For example, in 1927, a 19-year-old black teenager named Henry Choate was lynched at the Maury Courthouse after being accused of assaulting a white teenage girl. And his lynching is now recognized as a stark example of racial terror and injustice during the Jim Crow era. So while this may have seemed like a normal location for a music video, you can see why some people were upset. On top of that, the song's message was seen as directed to the Black Lives Matter movement, leading to the song being boycotted and pulled from multiple radio and TV stations.
As you probably heard, Jason Aldean's video for "Try That in a Small Town" has just been pulled from country music television. And he's out there playing the victim and saying that the video absolutely isn't what it very well is. The video is a message to the Black Lives Matter movement that they'd better stay away from him and his because they got guns and they protect their own. The video features him standing in front of a building that is the famous site of a mob lynching a young 18-year-old black man. And it's got an American flag hanging on it, and it's interspersed with footage from Black Lives Matter protests. What it doesn't have is footage of people who are likely members of his audience attacking the Capitol on January 6th and killing 5 police officers. But it does talk about disrespecting the police, those Black Lives Matter people. So I wish he'd just, own it. If you're gonna sow this division, then own it.
Jason Aldean is not even from a small town. Bro is from a big city with 200,000 people. Despite Jason Aldean's song being about protecting small-town values, Jason himself isn't even from a small town. Upon research, we found out that Jason Aldean was born in a city called McCann, which currently has a population of about 150,000 people. Later, Jason went to the CBS Morning News channel to clear the smoke on the song, stating that people misunderstood it and that the song had nothing to do with any ethnic group.
What was your reaction when you saw people saying that this had racist undertones and it was a threatening kind of video for black people? I mean, people were putting this on
But there was people of all color doing stuff in the video. That's what I don't understand. This video did not shine light on one specific group and say that's the problem. So, and anybody that saw that in the video, then you weren't looking hard enough in the video, is all I can tell you.
Since then, Jason hasn't issued an apology for the video and has only taken a victim stance, asserting that the criticisms of being racist, promoting violence, or being pro-lynching are simply not true. He explained that the song is about the feeling of a community that he had growing up, where people took care of their neighbors, regardless of differences of background or belief. But at least Jason still has somewhat of a fan base, unlike this next country artist whose videos now struggle to hit 1 million views, which is far from the millions of views they used to generate just 4 years ago. Back in 2019, it was nearly impossible to scroll on TikTok without hearing the catchy lines of Old Town Road. The trap beat, coupled with a country melody and memorable lyrics, made it hard for you not to dance along. The song was a smash hit and sits at over 1.4 billion views on YouTube today. For most people, it seemed like Lil Nas X was the next big thing. But fast forward to 2025, not only has Lil Nas X managed to fall off, but in just 6 years, he's managed to go from a global superstar to one of the most hated artists of this generation.
I didn't even know who Lil Nas X was. We was riding this morning, Hudson said, well, you know what made him famous? I said, well, he said, you know, it was that horses song. Got my horses and whatever that song. I was like, man, that song's got a cool beat. I'll never be able to listen to it again. A bunch of devil worshiping, wicked nonsense, pentagram wearing on your Nike tennis shoes 666. You think I'm gonna stand for that? You've lost your mind. You tell Lil Nas X I said so. Bunch of Satanism, bunch of wickedness, bunch of devilism, bunch of demonism, bunch of psychotic wickedness.
But how did this happen? After discovering the beat for Old Town Road on YouTube, Lil Nas X knew he would have a winner of a song if he made the right moves. So when the time came for him to start writing, Nas thought about how he can capture the younger generation's attention. I got the horses in the back. I was like, this is gonna be the highlight of the memes right here. And then the cowboy hat from Gucci. I was like, these are all quotables. And I was just doing that the entire month of making the song. After the song was released, it took a bit of time, but eventually the song began gaining traction on TikTok and eventually made it to the #1 spot on the Billboard 100. However, 2 months later, Lil Nas would tweet, "Some of y'all already know, some of y'all don't care. Some of y'all not gon' fuck with me no more. But before this month ends, I want y'all to listen closely to Closure," referring to his latest single where he would first open up about his sexuality. When the song Closure dropped, the song had lyrics like, "Ain't no more actin', man that forecast say I should just let me grow. This is what I gotta do, can't be regrettin' when I'm old." Meaning that from now on, he will finally be revealing the truth about his sexuality and that he is tired of pretending. From here on, Lil Nas X went on multiple interviews where he openly displayed his sexuality by wearing makeup, wigs, and even pitching up his voice. Unfortunately, Lil Nas X's choice to be as loud as possible with his sexuality didn't go without criticism. Because while many saw Lil Nas X as brave and applauded him for his choice to embrace his sexuality, many felt like Lil Nas X was leading the next generation astray. For example, on September 2nd, 2021, Lil Nas X posted this picture to his Instagram, where he announced that he was pregnant with his new project, Montero, stating that he feels like he's been carrying this album for months, and now he is finally ready to give birth to it. While many people saw this as a good marketing stunt, some saw Lil Nas X as a role model to millions of young people and thought he should act like it. However, the worst was yet to come, because on March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X premiered his new single, titled Montero. The video played into a lot of religious imagery, as well as a lot of contradicting imagery. The video's premiere was also accompanied by these devil Nike sneakers that contained blood from real humans. People demanded Lil Nas X to take down the song and issue a public apology. So on March 28th, Lil Nas X posted this video to his YouTube channel.
Okay guys, I see everybody's been talking about this shoe and I just want to come forward and say, okay, that's right.
This only added fuel to the fire, as pastors jumped in to express their frustrations for Lil Nas X.
I didn't even know who Lil Nas X was. We was riding this morning, Hudson said, well, you know what made him famous? I said, well, he said, you know, it was that horses song. Got my horses and whatever that song. I was like, man, that song's got a cool beat. I'll never be able to listen to it again. A bunch of devil worshiping, wicked nonsense, pentagram wearing on your Nike tennis shoes 666. You think I'm gonna stand for that? You've lost your mind. You tell Lil Nas X I said so. Bunch of Satanism, bunch of wickedness, bunch of devilism, bunch of demonism, bunch of psychotic wickedness.
Furthermore, Joyner Lucas put out a tweet stating, "I think the biggest problem for me is the fact he don't understand Old Town Road is every kid's anthem. Children love him for that record. They tuned in and subscribed to his channels. So with no disclaimer, he just dropped some left field shit and all our kids seen it. Shaking my head." Despite all the controversy, Montero still managed to go 7 times platinum and sits at more than 600 million views on YouTube, cementing him as a marketing genius. But fast forward to 2025, and Lil Nas X's career is hanging off a cliff. In an interview, he stated that he doesn't feel respected by the music industry anymore. Honestly, I don't feel as respected in hip-hop or many music places in general, but these are communities that I am a part of, whether people would like it or not. This is something that I wanted to do because, not that my entire album is rap, but there are rap tracks on my album. I am a rapper, I am a pop star, I am a gay artist. But it's like, I belong in these places, you know?